Hi and welcome to the Sew Essential vlog. I hope you're all well. I'm here today to talk to you about some really exciting and innovative products that we've recently added to the Sew Essential website. So we've added a huge amount of products to the website recently, but I've picked out for this vlog some of my favourites that I think will either take your dressmaking and sewing to the next level if you're not already using them, or they will make life so much easier for you and they will cut down on the tedious parts of the sewing process so that you can concentrate and spend more time on the really fun bits. Before I go on to the products though, I will, as always, just mention what I'm wearing. So this is one of my latest makes, which is the Sew Over It Pussy Bow blouse, which I absolutely adore and love wearing. I made it a couple of weeks ago in one of our lovely drapey viscose fabrics, and I really can't recommend this pattern highly enough. I thought it was beautifully drafted. I thought the fit was very, very flattering. It came together really easily. It really was a fantastic make, and I would definitely make it again. So all of the details of this blouse are on the blog, and the link to the blog is below, and you'll also find the link to our website below where all of the products I'll be talking about today will be featured. So the first products I'm going to talk to you about is this point presser and clapper, which has been handcrafted by a local craftsman in the UK. He's made each and every one of them by hand, so they're not mass produced off a production line. They're made in lovely hardwood, and they're just really beautifully made, and it's just lovely to know that somebody has taken the time to make each and every one of these individually. What are they used for, I hear you ask? Well, they are used by professional dressmakers and tailors to press items and firstly get into those really hard to reach areas, and that's what this point is for. It allows you to get into those really difficult to reach areas that you might need to press. So some examples might be the corners on cuffs, the corners on collars, those sorts of things. And I've got a collar mock-up here for you. So it would be very, very difficult to get right into the corner of that collar to press it. So what you do is you slide the collar onto the point presser like so, and get that right into the corner, get the wood right into the corner, and then because it's hardwood you are able to use your iron to press along there, and it enables you to get right into that corner there. And then you would repeat it on the other side. So slide it onto the other side again, get the wood right into the corner there, and you would be able to press along there and get right into the corner. So you can appreciate that without one of these you're just never going to be able to get that close to the corner. You're never going to get such good results. So it really is a fantastic tool, and it really will improve the results that you're getting tenfold. Then once you've actually pressed the corner like I demonstrated, the clap up element is that you turn the collar through to the right side, which clearly I haven't actually pressed this, so you know it's not going to look great, but you would roll the collar to the wrong side, you would roll the seam line to the wrong side, and then when you press the collar flat, you press it flat and you whack the clapper on top of the collar after you've pressed it. And what that does is it forces the steam into the fabric, and it also, the wood actually absorbs the steam as well, and it just gets you a really crisp professional finish. And the actual action of slamming the clapper hard onto the table or wherever you're pressing it, your ironing board, it just forces the steam into the fabric, and you will just get such better results with that. And it's really, really professional finish that you'll achieve with that. Lovely crisp lines, really crisp corners. It's just something that you just cannot achieve without one of these. So these are available on the website now. One of the other products you might want to use alongside your clapper, which we do recommend as well, is silk organza as a pressing cloth. So we sell it by the ½ metre. It's a transparent fabric that can withstand incredibly high temperatures, so it's perfect for pressing because you can see through it, you can see what's underneath. And then obviously it can withstand these really high temperatures as well, and it will protect your garments and your sewing project that's underneath it. So we sell it by the ½ metre. If you cut that in half again, overlock round the edges, you've got yourself a pressing cloth that will last for life. I know Angela's got one that she's had for about 20 years, I think. And a good idea that I have seen as well is just to attach a little loop of ribbon onto one of the corners, and then you can actually put that round your wrist so it doesn't fall off the ironing board when you're pressing with it. So I thought that was a really useful little tip. And another product that may come in useful as well when you're pressing is Best Press Spray, which is also in the pressing aid section on our website. And that just allows you, if you've ever washed your fabric and you've got creases in it that you just can't get out in quite stiff cottons or denims, for example, if you spray that on, it will, and then press it, it will get rid of all of those creases. And also if you've, say, perhaps pressed a crease in the wrong place on a garment or something, you can use it for that purpose as well. So yeah, there's just some little tips there for pressing, but this is the star of the show, I suppose, is these lovely, beautifully handcrafted hardwood point pressers and clappers. So you'll find those on the website. So the next product I wanted to talk to you about is the SimFlex sewing gauge. So this is a really, really awesome tool. People absolutely love this. It's basically a sewing gauge that allows you to accurately space items in your dressmaking. So buttonholes, pleats, shirring, smocking, any of those sorts of things. It just makes life so much easier to achieve that accurate spacing. So with your buttonholes, for example, instead of getting along your placket and having to sit there and measure with a tape measure and mark, you know, the point where you want the buttonhole to go, and then take the tape measure and mark the next point. If you wanted them all 2 inches apart, you just set your gauge so that these gaps are 2 inches apart, and then you can use these slots here in the end. You can actually mark through those with a pencil or Chaco pen. I used a Chaco pen when I used it for the first time to mark your fabric. And you've got that even, accurate spacing all in one step, instead of having to sit there and tediously measure with the tape measure. So it's really, really fantastic time saver, and just cuts down on that pretty boring part of sewing so that you can get on with the fun bit and actually doing the sewing. Now each of these gaps as well also has markings for 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. So you can even use those measurements as a guide for how big you want your buttonhole to be. In addition to that, there's also markings along each one of these metal strips for 1 to 6 inches. So if you wanted to lay it against your fabric and you wanted to mark something at 3 inches away from the edge of the fabric all the way along, you could do that. It just makes life so much easier. Instead of having to fiddle around with your tape measure and second check everything, you know, you can be confident when you use one of these that the spacing is accurate. The other thing you can do as well is these little notches here. You could use those right on the end there. I don't know whether you can see that, there's just a little notch there. You can just see on the end of my finger there. And you could use that to actually mark where your buttons need to go so that they correspond and marry up with where you've marked your buttonholes on the other side. And as I say, you know, you can use this for marking pleats, shirring, smocking, all sorts of different things, scallops as well, people use them for. So yeah, a really, really handy little tool, really, really useful, and people absolutely rave about them. Next up, we've got some really awesome products from Prim. So the first one is this mini steam iron, which I just think is so cute, but incredibly, incredibly useful as well. So maybe if you're short on space and you haven't got room in your sewing space to have a full-sized iron out all the time, or sometimes actually if you just can't be bothered to get your full-size iron out, I know I feel like that sometimes, these are really handy and really easy to just tuck away in a corner or a cupboard and get out for easy access whenever you need them. The other thing I think they're really good for as well is if you've got those sort of really small areas that you want to concentrate on when pressing. Sometimes when you're doing crafts and things like that, or quilting, or even small areas in dressmaking, say collars and things like that, where actually sometimes a full-size iron can obscure your view and you can't really see what you're doing. One of these smaller irons is really fantastic for those areas as well. So yeah, really handy. They're lovely and lightweight as well, which is quite a nice feature, because sometimes, I don't know about you, but I do get fed up of lifting my full-size iron every time I want to press a seam or whatever, you know, and these smaller ones are much more lightweight and much more handy, and they're really easy to maneuver as well. The handle's quite large on top, so yeah, that just makes them, you know, you can get a really good grip with them as well, and they're just a lot easier to maneuver than that huge heavy full-sized iron. All the dials are on the top for the steam and the different settings, so they're on there. And yeah, I just think it's a really innovative, clever little product that I know I would find very, very useful. And then if you throw into the mix the mini ironing board as well, then you're really onto something special, especially if you are short on space in your sewing space. So I know I can feel like that sometimes, that I haven't got room to keep putting my ironing board up, or again, I can't be bothered to put it up. And this little handy ironing board is just fantastic for those instances. You can see it's nice, kind of small size. It's got an ironing board, padded ironing board cover on the top. You can actually unclip it and fold it down so that it can be neatly put away, you know, hidden away in a cupboard or something, so it really doesn't take up a lot of room. And it's also excellent for pressing things like trouser legs. If you've got anything tubular that you need to get to the seam, you could actually slide a trouser leg along there, or perhaps a wide sleeve as well. So that's another really awesome product and goes really well with the mini iron. And actually, you know, you could put this on top of your work surface or your desk or whatever and do your pressing there. So, you know, if you are short on space, these products are really, really excellent for that. In addition to those as well, we've got these iron rests from Prim, which are made from silicone, so they're heat resistant and they're not non-slip as well, so you can rest your iron on there short term when you're in between seams, in between pressing seams. So if you were using the small iron and the small ironing board, for example, you could use this to rest your iron on, but you can also fit a full-size iron on there as well, so that's another really handy little product that makes life so much easier. The next product I wanted to share with you is a really pretty product, but also incredibly useful as well, and that is these lovely pattern weights. So the ones that I'm showing you now are one of the small sets, which are 40mm wide, and they've got the beautiful little bee design on them. They come in a couple of other designs as well, that size. And they're just really lovely way to add a little bit of prettiness to your sewing room, I suppose, but they're also very practical as well. So what I really like about them is that they are slimline, so you can see there that they're not very thick or hefty at all. However, they are a really good weight and they will hold those pattern pieces down perfectly, but I think the fact that they're slimline just makes it easy to cut round them. I think you know, it is easier to manoeuvre and to get close to the areas that you need to when you're cutting your pattern pieces out. And yeah, they just come in a whole range of designs. We've got flamingos, we've got sort of dressmaking themed ones, we've got vintage ones, we've got ones with dress forms on. There's all sorts of different designs, and they come in another 2 sizes as well. So the 40mm ones, there's 6 in a set, and then we've got 50mm ones, which there are 4 in a set. They all come in these lovely little presentation cases as well to keep them nice and neat and stored away in your sewing room. So here are some of the 40mm ones, if I just show you those. So that's like a dressmaking themed one. Again, lovely and slim line, the same as the smaller size. And then they also come in a 60mm size as well. So I've got an example here for you of the 60mm ones, which are these lovely party rings. So Who doesn't love a party ring? I know I do. Yeah, and they're available in the 3 different sizes. There's a whole host of other designs as well on the website, so this is just 3 examples, but there's a huge number of other designs as well. And I just think they're just a lovely little thing to treat yourself to, but also a great present as well for somebody. So yeah, I just wanted to share those with you because I think they're rather lovely. I'm also really excited to share with you the fact that we've got a new pattern range on board as well. So we've just recently started stocking true bias patterns. So there is a whole range of patterns. This is the lovely Roscoe dress. There is the Hudson pants, which are a really cool sort of loungewear pant that I know loads and loads of people absolutely adore and basically live in because they're so comfortable and lovely. There's the Lodo dress. There's the Nico top and dress, and then we've also got the world famous Lander pants. If you haven't heard about the Lander pants, everyone's going mad for them, which is why I haven't got one of them here because we've sold our last copy today. They are going like hotcakes. They're like a really lovely sort of 70s inspired, I would say, trouser. That are like high-waisted, slightly sort of boot cut, and just really, really lovely. They've got some really lovely detail on them. People are going mad for those, perfect for the summer. And then also the Ogden cami as well we sell, which is just a simple cami top, but it's absolutely perfect for summer. It's really well cut. It's a really lovely flattering top, perfect for those hot summer days. So yeah, ultimately the true bias patterns, they're just really fashion forward, all of them. Scream, you know, up to date, modern, the sort of thing that modern makers want to wear. So personally, I can't wait to get stuck into one of those and share it with you on the blog. So the next thing I want to share with you is this really handy pressing aid. And it's got a curved edge for pressing curved hems and then a straight edge for pressing straight hems. It's also got these perforations marked at 1, 2, 3 and 4 centimetres, so you can use those to line the edge of your fabric up to make sure you're getting an equally measured hem. Obviously when you're normally marking a hem, you might need to stand there with your tape measure and keep checking that you've got the right width on the hem all the way along, but this tool just makes that a lot easier. So you would just get your fabric, fold it up, line the fabric up, the raw edge of the fabric up with one of the sets of markings, and then you would simply press along the fabric there and you would get a nice even hem. So it's a really useful tool. The little perforations in it as well also mean that you can mark fabric if you want to mark say 3 centimetres away from the raw edge of the fabric for some reason. You can actually use the perforations to line it up with the raw edge of the fabric because you'll be able to see the fabric through those perforations, which is really handy. And then you'd be able to use your tailor's chalk to draw the relevant marking line down that side. So yeah, another really handy tool. Ultimately, in my world, what this says to me is less time measuring and pressing and more time doing the stuff that I really enjoy, which is the sewing and the actually really creative bit of sewing. So yeah, a really useful little tool. And the last product I wanted to talk to you about is a very small and inexpensive product, but I think actually really innovative and really very useful, and that is this LED needle threader. So it's got an easy grip button that you use to slide along and get the wires to come out. So the wires are retractable and get put away inside the plastic casing when not in use, but you simply slide the wire out and then an LED light lights the end of the wires and lights your needle eye so that you're not having to strain to thread your needle, which I just think is absolutely fantastic. For anybody who's got poor eyesight who struggles with threading needles, it's a really innovative little product. It's got a long life battery, so you can thread up to 3,000 needles with this. And the other thing that I really like about it, which I think was a really clever idea as well, is it's got a little hole in the end, so you can actually have it on a lanyard. So yeah, you can just pop it around your neck while you're in your sewing room doing whatever you need to and get it out whenever you need to. So yeah, I just thought that was a really innovative little product. It also includes a thread cutter as well. So yeah, just one of those things that if you've got poor eyesight or you really struggle with threading needles, really inexpensive, but could be something that just takes a lot of that frustration away for you. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you like what you've seen. Hopefully you can see that as sewists ourselves, we really work hard to go out there and find the products that we think you'll find useful, that will take your dressmaking to the next level. A lot of the products that I've showcased today are things that Angela's been using for years and absolutely swears by, and we finally managed to source them and get them for you. So we're really pleased about that. As always, the links to the website and the blog are below, and if you like what you've seen today, please like and subscribe, and I shall see you next time.